everyone, good evening. You're watching Brass Tacks with me, Maria Shakil. It is the end of an era in Indian cricket. After the loss to South Africa in the recent Test series, Virat Kohli has stepped down as Test captain. In a statement on Twitter, he said, "It has been 7 years of hard work and perseverance," adding that there has never been a lack of effort in his journey. He thanked the BCCI and his teammates with a special thank you to MS Dhoni for believing in him. Despite the controversies, Virat Kohli continues to be the most successful Test captain in Indian cricket. And now speculation continues over who will fill those big shoes. Joining me is Vimal Kumar. Vimal, the Indian cricket team is still in South Africa. The one-day matches are still left. There are 3 one-day matches that are yet to take place. Virat Kohli is not the captain of ODI. Then why this sudden resignation?
I think Virat Kohli must have sensed it, because sooner or later he was going to be, removed from the Test captaincy, and he had learnt it hard way. The last month when ODI captaincy was taken away from him, and he knows that there are BCCI officials who are no longer fan of his, style, or they are no longer in awe of Virat Kohli. So he knows that the moment he lost the Test series, because it was the victory in South Africa could have only saved his job as Test captain for 1 more year. Because if you look at 2022, India is just playing 2 Test matches against Sri Lanka at home next month, and then 1 Test matches in England. So there is not much to achieve, because in any case against Sri Lanka they were going to experiment with the new players. So Kohli, sensing what BCCI's mood is there, he chose his Twitter platform and announce his decision. Because remember, such high profile decisions generally come through BCCI press release or a press conference. So you can sense that that Kohli knew that it was inevitable. So better to take this decision on his own and go on your own terms.
Is there some kind of breakdown of communication between the BCCI and Virat Kohli as well?
Definitely. See, no matter what the BCCI officials are claiming officially, the fact is that the captain, the Test captain, and the top BCCI officials are not on the same page. Remember, Kohli clearly, without naming Sourav Ganguly, he said that his version of a story, and later on, just 2 weeks before, Chetan Sharma had reiterated the same thing what Ganguly had said. So Kohli knew that everyone is on the one side, whether it's the chief selector or the BCCI president or all the BCCI officials. He is alone. I have never seen Virat Kohli being aloof, alone. If you look at his press conference yesterday, so a very, very unlikely Virat Kohli. He was so downcast, taking questions. And it's not that the first time Virat Kohli has lost a Test series. He lost in England. He has lost in, South Africa before. But he was always there, combative. He was not somebody, his shoulders will be down. But we saw a different kind of Virat Kohli. Somebody, he knows that he can fight the outside world. He can fight the opponents on the field. He can no longer fight with the BCCI official and win it.
All right, Vimal, thank you so much for joining us. Shifting focus now to our top political story, and that, of course, is coming from battleground Uttar Pradesh.
मैं आभारी हूँ आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का, जिन्होंने मुझे गोरखपुर से भारतीय जनता पार्टी का प्रत्याशी बनाया है। प्रचंड बहुमत की सरकार भारतीय जनता पार्टी बनाएगी।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने पहले ही उन्हें अपने घर भेज दिया। अब गोरखपुर से वापस आने की उन्हें जरूरत नहीं है।
समाजवादी पार्टी जो है ये समाजवादी के साथ साथ अम्बेडकरवादी भी है। SC, ST, OBC और विशेषकर माइनॉरिटीज के हितों की पार्टी है, जिसमें रत्ती भर भी सच्चाई नहीं है।
अंत समय में मुझे लगा कि अखिलेश जी को दलितों की जरूरत नहीं है।
The temperature temperature is rising in battleground Uttar Pradesh. The BJP has released its first list of 107 candidates. As the party battles the exodus of OBC leaders, over 60% in the first list are OBC and Dalit candidates, fielded even from general seats. The big announcement is that Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will contest from Gorakhpur Urban in his home turf, while his deputy Keshav Prasad Maurya will be contesting from Sirathu in Prayagraj. The candidature of Yogi Adityanath from Gorakhpur comes as a surprise, as he was expected to be fielded from either Ayodhya or Mathura. Akhilesh Yadav hit out at the BJP, saying they have given Yogi a ticket to return home and a message to stay there. The former Chief Minister is cobbling together a rainbow alliance to oust the ruling party and has been locked in a bitter spat with Yogi Adityanath over the past few weeks after Adityanath claimed with elections that this will ensure his victory, because this election is about 80% versus 20%. As Akhilesh Yadav welcomed top OBC leaders from the BJP camp, the focus of the elections is turning to the critical voter base, with Swami Prasad Maurya now saying the 85% will prevail over 15%. Now the BSP, refusing to be left behind, has targeted the Samajwadi Party coalition, calling it anti-Dalit, with no real intentions to empower the backward communities. The same sentiment was echoed by the head of the Bhim Army, Chandrasekhar Azad, who says Akhilesh Yadav does not want Dalits in his coalition, calling the Samajwadi Party just another version of the BJP. Power plays are being made from all sides, but how does the BJP's first list, the definite pro-OBC push, and Yogi Adityanath and KP Maurya's candidature fit as part of a wider election strategy? Moreover, will Akhilesh Yadav take the cue and follow his rival into the poll fray? Or also, as the BSP is making noise, promising to sweep the polls, is it coming a bit too late in this evident bipolar contest? To decode the political dynamics, I am being joined by Sanju Verma, BJP spokesperson, Neerja Chaudhary, journalist and political analyst. Ameek Jamai is national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. We also have Dharamveer Chaudhary, BSP spokesperson. Neerja Chaudhary, beginning with you, what are the big takeaways of the BJP's first list?
Focus on the OBCs and Dalits, very significant. This election 2022 is about the OBC. This election is also about the devolution of power moving downwards. This is about Mandal phenomenon being very much there, whether it's the BJP or the Samajwadi Party. That's point number one. Yogi Adityanath being sent to Gorakhpur to contest from his home seat, it shows that the BJP is not willing to take risks. And it's not that he could not have won from Ayodhya, he could have possibly won, but Gorakhpur is a safe seat. He won't have to spend many hours there. He will be able to campaign in the rest of the state. And in Ayodhya, maybe it would not have been so short or safe, because Samajwadi Party had that seat, Faizabad, it has many Muslims. And also the Samajwadi Party candidate had been a Brahmin. So it could have become a Brahmin versus Thakur fight also, which probably the party wanted to avoid.
Okay. Sanju Verma, first the statement of Yogi Adityanath that these elections are about 80% versus 20%. Then the news that he could contest from Ayodhya, and then he going back to his constituency, the Lok Sabha constituency, and choosing a part of it as his assembly constituency. The question is, the BJP now moving away from Hindutva narrative to realize that there is much more to these elections than going back to the tried and tested formula?
Okay. Thank you, Maria. First and foremost, my introduction should read as national spokesperson of the BJP, not just spokesperson.
Okay.
Coming to the more important point, you've asked some very pertinent questions. And, without mincing words, I will say this much, that had Yogi Adityanath contested from Ayodhya, which is what was being bandied about by just about everybody as recently as 24 hours back, the same bunch which is today mocking the BJP for fielding Yogi Adityanath from Gorakhpur urban would have said, "Arey, ये अयोध्या से इसीलिए लड़ रहे हैं because the BJP wants to peddle a Hindutva agenda. We dare Yogi Adityanath to actually contest from Gorakhpur, where he's been a 5-time MP from. That is where his real test of anti-incumbency would come to, be challenged." I just want to say one thing. This sounds a bit rhetorical, but I genuinely believe that when Amit Shah said that, the BJP believes in 3 V's, and this is what JP Nadda, the national president of BJP, reinforced on more than one occasion, Vikas, Vyapar, Vistar, which means we believe that development and spiritual vibrancy, these are not mutually exclusive. We will contest on both these pillars because we feel that they feed off each other. Whereas if you look at the Samajwadi Party till date has been contesting election after election on 3 P's: Parivarvad, Pakshpat and Palayan, migration, nepotism, and obviously a dynasty. I'll just quickly end by saying one thing. As you rightly said, the fact is 60% of the candidates announced today are from OBCs or, SC/ST or women or people from, marginalized sections of the society. So the BJP has always believed in giving a voice to those who matter the most.
Okay. Amick Jamai, you may say today that you are making BJP play on your field. You wanted to discuss caste. You wanted to make the caste narrative the dominant narrative. It is certainly appearing at the moment.
नहीं मारिया, हम कास्ट को डिस्कस नहीं करते हैं, हम क्लास को डिस्कस करते हैं। हम डिस्कस करते हैं कि किस तरह से हमारा उत्तर प्रदेश जो है 5 सालों में इन्होंने कब्र में पहुंचा दिया। चाहे आप अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट की बात करें या इकोनॉमिक डिस्ट्रेस की बात करें या आप एग्रीकल्चर क्राइसिस की बात करें, उत्तर प्रदेश का जो किसान है, नौजवान है, मतलब बेरोजगारी तो उत्तर प्रदेश में चरम पे है। यही वजह है मारिया, जो सबसे अच्छी बात ये हो रही कि उत्तर प्रदेश धर्म के नाम पे पोलराइज होने को तैयार नहीं है। बाबा मुख्यमंत्री जी ने एक सिटिंग मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट से एक चिट्ठी लिखवाया था कि उनको मथुरा से या अयोध्या से लड़वाया जाए, लेकिन हैरत होगी कि
अगर पोलराइजेशन की बात की जाए तो क्या सपा कास्ट पोलराइजेशन नहीं कर रही है? अगड़े पिछड़े की लड़ाई नहीं बनाने की कोशिश कर रही है ये चुनाव को?
नहीं, सपा जो है सोशल जस्टिस और डेवलपमेंट पर बेस्ड माननीय अखिलेश यादव जी पॉलिटिक्स कर रहे हैं। और यही वजह है कि इस लाल जो इनकलाब उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर है, चाहे वो ब्राह्मण समाज के लोग हों, चाहे वो एससी हों, चाहे वो महिलाएं हों, महिलाओं की एक बड़ी आबादी है जो माननीय अखिलेश यादव जी के पीछे जो है कदम से कदम बढ़ा के चल रही है। हम महिलाओं को किस तरफ रखेंगे? आपको मारिया हैरत होगी, उत्तर प्रदेश छेड़खानी में नंबर 1 है, इन्होंने पहुंचा दिया है। रेप में नंबर 2 है। आप जरा सोचिए इनके बारे में, ये किस तरह की डिवेसिव पॉलिटिक्स 5 सालों में करते रहे। यही वजह है कि बीजेपी ने मुख्यमंत्री जी को
संजू वर्मा, क्विक रिस्पांस
कर दिया।
What is the NCRB data suggesting, Sanju Verma?
Maria, I just want to say that NCRB data in the last 18 to 24 months, if you take the average, if there is one state which has topped the crime chart, especially violent crimes against women, by far it is Rajasthan. Now, speaking of Uttar Pradesh, I want to just give you one more data which is very important. It is the conviction rate of criminals. The conviction rate on an average was 34% during the 15 years of Samajwadi and BSP, Bahujan Samajwadi parties, Mafia Raj. But in the last 4.5 odd years,
मारिया जो हमारी हाथरस की बेटी थी, उसके साथ रेप हुआ, उसके माँ बाप जो है ना उसका चेहरा देखना चाहते थे, उसके माँ बाप उसके लास्ट रिचुअल करना चाह रहे थे। ये बड़े ही दलित हितैषी लोग हैं। बाबा मुख्यमंत्री हाथरस की जो बेटी है ना, उसके माँ बाप उसको देखना चाह रहे थे।
about crimes against women. Let Sanju Verma defend it or respond to it. Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you. The moot point is Samajwadi Party spokesperson is so rattled because the average conviction rate of crimes against women has risen to 64% thanks to the double engine sarkar of Modi Yogi, and this gentleman from Samajwadi Party was waxing eloquent about unemployment in Uttar Pradesh. Let me tell you, party's Gunda Raj.
Okay.
Today it is down to...
Okay, we also have a BSP representative on the panel, and let me get him as well. Dharamveer Chaudhary, increasingly it is turning out to be a two-horse race. Mayawati today released a list of candidates, but there seems to be no discussion on it. My question is the BSP really in the reckoning?
मारिया जी, ये जो बीजेपी और समाजवादी पार्टी की आप डिबेट करा रही है ना, इसमें बहुजन समाज पार्टी को भी इन्वॉल्व करिए और मैडम संजू वर्मा को बताइए कि बीएसपी का नाम बहुजन समाज पार्टी है, बहुजन समाजवादी पार्टी नहीं है। ये स्पोक पर्सन है, पढ़ी लिखी है या नहीं है? दूसरी बात पे आइए, ये जातीय जनगणना से क्यों भाग रही है संजू वर्मा?
पर्सनल टिप्पणी करना,
ये समाजवादी, ये
पर्सनल टिप्पणी करना,
अरे पर्सनल कुछ नहीं होता है जब आप सार्वजनिक जीवन में है। पर्सनल क्या होता है? पर्सनल क्या होता है? आप स्पोक पर्सन है, पढ़ी लिखी है नहीं पढ़ी लिखी है आप?
चलिए धर्मवीर जी, सवाल आपसे ये है कि इस चुनाव में बसपा किसके खिलाफ लड़ रही है? क्योंकि जितनी ऑपोजिशन पार्टीज हैं वो तो इनकम्बेंट के खिलाफ लड़ती हैं, लेकिन आपका जो सारा बयान आ रहा है वो तो अखिलेश यादव और सपा के अगेंस्ट में आ रहा है।
मारिया जी मुझे बोलने दीजिए। ये जो जनता लड़ रही है ना कुशासन के खिलाफ, हम जनता के साथ लड़ रहे हैं। 30 तारीख से ये जो किसान है ये हर मुख्यालय पर प्रदर्शन करेंगे कि क्या हुआ कमेटी का, क्या हुआ टैनी का, ये क्या हुआ 700 किसान जो मर गए उसका, एमएसपी पे गारंटी का, हम उनके साथ लड़ेंगे। मारिया जी, ये जातीय जनगणना से क्यों भाग रही है संजू वर्मा, ये बताएं मुझे। और ये जो समाजवादी पार्टी के स्पोक पर्सन बैठे हैं, इनसे ये पूछिए कि गुंडाराज कबाल में कौन चला रहा था? फसल गुंडाराज की कबाल की किसने काटी थी? ये जो शपथ लेते ही ये गोलियां चलने लगती हैं, मंच टूटने लगते हैं, ये कौन सा नजराना पेश करते हैं समाजवादी पार्टी के लोग?
की बहस नहीं है धर्मवीर जी।
मारिया
नहीं, मैं आपसे क्वेश्चन कर रहा हूं, आप मुझे बताइए।
मारिया चाहे बीजेपी हो या जो भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज हो, उनका कोई भी एजेंडा काम नहीं कर रहा है, क्योंकि ये लोग एंटी सीए मूवमेंट में गायब थे, ये लोग
गुंडाराज काम कर रहा है आपका,
ये लोग
समाजवादी पार्टी का गुंडाराज काम कर रहा है, समाजवादी पार्टी का कमाल कांड कर रहा है।
आपको इस बात की फिक्र नहीं होती कि जो
हिंदू मुस्लिम की लड़ाई दिखा रही है,
मायावती अपने बारे में बोलती थी वो उनके साथ है, वो आज की जो 3 इलेक्शन दिखा है 2014, 2017 और 2019 का लोकसभा चुनाव, उसमें तो दलित चले गए थे, उन्होंने भाजपा के साथ अपना वोट दिया है।
चले गए थे
भाजपा के साथ?
नहीं 22%, 23% पर। मारिया जी, आप 20 साल का रिकॉर्ड देखिए बीएसपी का। बहुजन समाज पार्टी देश की 30 नंबर की बड़ी पार्टी है। उत्तर प्रदेश में 2017 में हम 100 सीटों पर नंबर 2 पर थे, 19 एमएलए हमारे जीते थे। लोकसभा के चुनाव में भी हमारा वोट परसेंट 23% था, 10 लोकसभा के सांसद जीते थे। और ये जो 5 लोकसभा की त्रिपाल समाजवादी पार्टी के स्तर पे आई हुई है, ये भी हमारी बदौलत आई हुई है। तीन उपचुनाव में बहन जी के एक इशारे पर इनके लोकसभा के सांसद जीते थे। आप कैसी बात कर रही हैं?
अमित जमे, if it was about pure arithmetic, then you should have crossed 60 MPs in the 2019 Lok Sabha polls. That did not happen when the BSP SP came together. Pure arithmetic, 2 plus 2, that doesn't happen. If it was about ensuring that chemistry would work, then that would have resulted in you ensuring government in 2017. That did not happen when SP and the Congress came together. My question is that every time since 2014, UP is throwing up a new narrative. Are you of the opinion then that these pockets that you are trying to ensure, that these leaders who are coming from the BJP, they would ensure that the cadre also moves with them? Because the sense is also that a number of them could not, may have been not fielded or given the ticket by the BJP. These are the turncoats who joined the BJP in 2017 and now they are choosing to join you.
मारिया, जनता की जब ताकत किसी भी लीडर के पीछे खड़ी होती है ना, जैसे माननीय अखिलेश यादव जी के पीछे जो लोग खड़े हुए, देश की जो सबसे अमीर पार्टी है, उनकी रैलियां, हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री की रैलियां उत्तर प्रदेश में जब फेल हो रही थी 1 साल में, अखिलेश यादव जी के पीछे जो पूरा एक जन सैलाब लाल इनकलाब का, जिसे हम रेड रेवोल्यूशन कह रहे हैं, वो बीजेपी के खिलाफ जो एंटी पुअर पॉलिसीज हैं, एंटी पीपल पॉलिसीज हैं, एंटी सोशल जस्टिस जो पॉलिसीज रही हैं, पूरा उत्तर प्रदेश प्रशांत है। ये आज का जो चुनाव है ना, जनता बनाम सरकार का चुनाव होने जा रहा है। इसलिए जनता की ताकत पे बीजेपी आरएसएस को खत्म करने के लिए लोग समाजवादी पार्टी के साथ आज उठ खड़े हुए हैं। ये बात सही है कि हम 17 में हार गए, हो सकता है कि बहुत सारे काम थे हम नहीं कर पाए होंगे।
मुलायम सिंह जी ने तो मोदी जी को आशीर्वाद दिया था।
You have charge coming in from the BSP and also from Samajwadi Party that this is now the people of UP fighting against the current government.
You know, Maria, I did not interrupt in the BSP.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I am. Please don't, be condescending to it. I am coming to the point. First and
अरे
foremost,
मैडम संजू जी, ज्यादा बोलने से कोई महान नहीं बनता है।
You know, you don't rein in the other participants, but you are lecturing me. Can you please ask this man to not give me background music?
हम मर गए, ये कुत्ते लाशें खा रहे थे।
Okay, संजू
कोरोना काल में सैकड़ों लोग मर गए। कौन जिम्मेदार है उसका?
Maria, what kind of a debate? Can you ask this man to stop screaming? Thank you. पहली बात तो ये मारिया, we have been saying that सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास, सबका प्रयास is not a mere platitude. This is an abiding work ethic for the BJP, and I'll tell you how. Today, the GDP of Uttar Pradesh is 17.5 lakh crore, the second highest in the country in terms of absolute numbers. The more important point is, in the 15 years of SP-DSP rule, 600 kilometers worth of highways/expressways had come up. In the last 4.5 years alone, 1,300 kilometers of expressways have either come up or are about to come to fruition. Look at the Jewar Airport, which was pending since 2000-2001. Finally, Prime Minister Modi laid the foundation stone a couple of weeks back. I want to ask one more thing. BSP के gentlemen पूछते हैं, आप पढ़ी लिखी हो कि नहीं? अरे आपकी पूरी पार्टी जितनी पढ़ी लिखी नहीं है, मैं अकेले उतनी पढ़ी लिखी हूँ, इसलिए नैतिकता का भाषण किसी और को जाकर दीजिए। BSP is not in the equation. It may not even get more than 5 seats.
Okay, so you accept that this is a two-horse race, Sanju Verma? That when you say कि equation में नहीं है बसपा, तो आप भी मानती हैं कि ये एक सपा versus भाजपा चुनाव है?
Yes, that I agree. It's a bipolar fight.
Okay, so if it's a bipolar contest, Neerja Chaudhary, what is playing out in UP?
What is playing out in
UP? If it's a bipolar contest.
Well, certainly I would agree that it is a bipolar contest. You can see it in the meetings of Akhilesh Yadav. He's obviously emerged as the alternative that the people are looking at, who can give a fight to the BJP. And the contest is getting closer by the day. It's very significant, his statement today that we are not going to take more MLAs from the BJP. It's a signal to his own people, because there's a restiveness. The new entrants may get tickets which the Samajwadi Party leaders and workers wanted. And it's a reassuring thing to them to say, okay, your seats are going to be safe. Otherwise, he could have problems on his hand. So, you could have a reverse movement taking place. Samajwadi Party people denied tickets going to the BJP. So, I think it's a tricky one that Akhilesh Yadav will have to tackle. But certainly, as far as the ground situation, the ground response is concerned, it's not only the large numbers coming to the Samajwadi Party meeting. It is, it's that excitement that you see at poll time. There is a dead crowd and there's a live crowd when you see at elections. And it is a very live crowd, enthusiastic crowd. So let's see. To defeat BJP is also not going to be so easy. It has a huge, well-oiled machinery.
Absolutely.
And as I keep saying, in the last mile battle, that does count. But still, by the day, it is becoming a contest between the two sides.
So it's a bipolar contest, and it's an interesting contest. Certainly, it's a 7-phase election in UP, and we'll wait and see how each phase goes. National spokesperson of the BJP, Sanju Verma, thank you so much for joining us. Ameek Jamai, Dharmveer Chaudhary, spokesperson of the BSP, and Neerja, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. All the comments on news18.com. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.